everyone, welcome back to my channel. You might recognise this outfit from the end of my Throne of Glass reading vlog, and that's because it is the same moment, literally seconds after that clip. But this is a really fun reading vlog. I'm not actually sure what I'm going to call it yet, but potentially it's reading my most anticipated reads, potentially it is reading 5-star reads, like predicted 5-star reads, or it could be finishing series. We will see as this video goes on what I'm gonna title it in the end. And the reason I'm not sure is because I know one book that I'm gonna read in this, but I don't know what other books I'm gonna read. But the first book I'm gonna read that I have already started is Fearless by Lauren Roberts. This is the first book we'll be reading. I have started it. I've got 50 pages in. It's kind of just going as I expected at the moment. Although I will say at this point there's not really any like suspense because it is just going as predicted. But yeah, I'm just so excited for this book. And then you're obviously going to see me reading it because this is a reading vlog. The other two books I'm not sure about whether I'll read in this video or not is Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. It is coming out today, I believe, and again it's coming out in hardcover, and I do want to read it, but I'm also not like, I don't feel like I have to read it in the same way that I have with other Emily Henry books. And I'm not going to buy the hardcover of that because it's a romance book. It shouldn't be hardcover in my opinion, and obviously all my other books are paperback, so I'm just not going to buy the hardcover. And then the other book that I was considering reading in this vlog was Daydream by Hannah Grace. I've also put this one off for a long while, but I do have it on my physical TBR and I obviously do want to read it. I really loved Icebreaker when it came out. Looking back, I'm not sure if it would still be a 5-star for me, but I do remember the found family being really strong and the connection between Anastasia and Nate, I think. I remember their connection being really good, and I feel like I would still feel that way. And then Wildfire, I rated that 4.5, I think. I still really liked it, but it was a lot more like, there wasn't that found family aspect, if you know what I mean. So it was just kind of more of a simple romance, in my opinion. But I am excited to read Daydream because I do love Henry. I know everyone loves Henry, but I am excited to see his story, and I think it's quite like a bookish book, and it's quite Taylor Swift coded from what I've heard. So there's definitely reasons to read it, but we will see once I've read Fearless how I'm feeling about those other books. Who knows, I might just read Fearless in this video and then it will just be a Fearless reading vlog. So this video could be like anything at this point, but I am going to read Fearless, that is for sure, and we'll talk about it. Please ignore how I look because I'm kind of winding down for the night now, but I have one very small thing that I want to say. I'm just over 250 pages into Fearless now. There was a moment a couple chapters ago where I was kind of thinking, there's something going on here, like something, I don't want to say shady, but like I'm going to say shady because I don't want to spoil anything. And then something has just happened. And we get the king's point of view in this book, by the way, and it's to do with his point of view. And now I'm like questioning everything, and I think I'm right. I think what I thought reading that first bit and then what I'm thinking now is true. Definitely what's happened just now is true, which makes me think that what I read earlier is also true, which I don't know how I feel about that. I like the connection it makes. I don't want to say cop out, but it's a little bit of a cop out. So yeah, that's how I'm feeling about that, because I know obviously some people watching this will have read the book and might be wondering what I'm thinking about that whole plot twist, I guess, but I'm interested to see where it goes. Okay, so it is the next day after I filmed that little clip. I still don't have like loads of thoughts to tell you, but I kind of want to elaborate on how I'm feeling about this plot twist that I'm pretty sure is going to happen. So I'm about 300 pages into Fearless now, so I'm thinking I could finish it today depending on how my day goes. There is a plot twist that basically has been confirmed at this point in the story, and that doesn't necessarily surprise me because it was already fact that this could be the case. Is how I'm going to word it. I really don't want to spoil anything because, as I've said loads of times, I love this series. I want anyone to read it. So that plot twist that I'm pretty sure is confirmed at this point, 300 pages in. Not shocking, kind of sad just because of the situation, but not shocked. Doesn't actually really impact the story that much. But there's another twist that I think is coming that I kind of mentioned yesterday that I feel is a bit of a cop out, and I don't know if I like this twist, guys. It's not I'm hoping anyway it's not gonna like affect my opinions and like how much I love the series or anything like that. I think it is going to, and I don't really know why Lauren Roberts has included it in this book, because I feel like when we got this plot twist in Reckless, the second book, it was a bit surprising. Like I feel like I was surprised. I thought the relationship that this twist revolves around was a really nice one. We don't get to see much of it, although it does add to that person's character, and it did kind of make sense of the story just because Peyton isn't ordinary. But I think what's going to happen is like the truth. I don't know. Like, I feel like it is a bit of a cop out. As I said, I'm going to try and finish it today. Other than that, I feel like I don't really have anything else to say. Okay, so I literally just finished Fearless like literally a minute ago, and I feel like I need to get this all out right now before like my mind starts getting overwhelmed with other stuff the next couple days. My overarching feeling about this book is that I really enjoyed being back with Kai and Peyton, and the feeling of this book felt similar to the first book, Powerless. That's kind of to do with the plot points, but also how much you get Kai and Peyton together in this book is more similar to the first one, and just the setting in general is more similar to the first one. So I really love that aspect of it. That's what's making me feel good about the book, I guess. And obviously, I love Kai and Peyton individually and then together. I just love them both. I found the first half a bit slow, and I found the second half a lot faster paced and more had me wanting to read more. However, I would say overall, and I did see a Goodreads review online. I think her name was Clara, but I'm not 100% sure. And she kind of did mention this in her review, but a lot of what she said I did agree with. I would say the pacing overall was just a little bit off. There was moments where I literally didn't care and like didn't feel like I needed or wanted to read, and then there was moments where I was like, I need to keep reading, and especially towards the end I was like, I just need to keep reading. Obviously I wanted to finish the book today, so that did affect that. But this review is from someone that loves Kai and Peyton like loads and loved Powerless so much. I also liked Reckless, which I feel like a lot of people maybe didn't like it that much. I still liked it because I still liked being with Kai and Peyton. So I feel like I have maybe a slightly more like, I don't want to say biased, but like skewed opinion. I still have criticisms, but I said this in my review, so if you do follow me on Goodreads, you would have seen this. I feel so like sad reading this book because it's the end of the series. I think she might have said she's gonna like maybe do like a little novella, but it's the end of the series, and I felt like so sad reading this because I knew that this was the end of Kai and Peyton's story. So I can't imagine how Lauren Roberts was feeling writing this. That's kind of just something I wanted to put out there. I'm only going to say 3 criticisms, I guess. And one is that I found it predictable, which I did mention, I'm pretty sure. I found every single thing predictable. I don't think I found one thing shocking. So that was kind of sad in a way because I have seen other people that have found some bits shocking, but for me it was all predictable. You would have seen, I think in my last clip, I knew like the biggest part of the story, I knew it was coming. Basically every single one, including the epilogue, I think. Oh no, not the epilogue, the like 5 years later bit, there's like a little plot twist that wasn't surprising to me at all. Again, it was pretty obvious to me that what they believed happened, or what Peyton believed happened, didn't happen. Overall, very predictable. There was one bit that I was a bit shocked about, and without spoiling anything, it was to do with one of the characters that you meet in the Powerful novella. That bit I was slightly shocked at, but like as soon as you learn something, I was like, oh, it's going to be this character. And I also really wish we saw more of that character and that character had more of a storyline, because I don't know if it's just me, and maybe it is just me looking into it too much, but that character, I'm trying to do this without spoiling anything, but that character has abilities that someone who is central to the series also has. And one of the plot twists in this book could kind of link with this character, if you catch my drift. And that was kind of what I thought was going to happen when I heard Lauren Roberts say, like, there's a little bit of a surprise, I guess, with this character. But I feel like maybe that's still going to happen if we do get another novella. I don't know. But that makes sense to me. So yeah, I feel like those are really my only criticisms. I just loved it. Like I loved being a crime maiden. I feel like the other ending, like separate to the one I just talked about, I liked it. I do feel like it didn't really like make sense of the characters and it's a bit of an overdone ending. I think that's all I wanted to say. I'm going to Portugal tomorrow. At least I hope I am, because there's actually power outages across Portugal and Spain. So I'm hoping I'm going, but I don't think I'm going to read the next book in this video. I'm going to read a book for a different video and then I'll catch up with you once I'm back. I probably would have started my job so I can give you a little bit of an update and I will tell you what book I'm reading next. So I'll see you when I pick out my next book. Okay, so it is now a couple of days later that I'm filming this, but I thought I'd give you a bit of an update. I have started my new job, so I've been a bit more busy and not been able to read as much, which hasn't been that nice. But I did decide to start Great Big Beautiful Life on audiobook. So it actually ended up being a toss-up between finishing Hopeless by Elsie Silver or starting Great Big Beautiful Life. And I kind of just decided based on the fact that I'm going to be able to listen to a book more easily than I will be able to read a physical book. So I went with Great Big Beautiful Life, which obviously I really did want to read that. I think I did say that. I really want to read it. I'm really excited about it. And obviously it's another new release. So I think this video will be titled Reading New Releases. But yeah, I just haven't been able to film much. And I am now about 45% into Great Big Beautiful Life. So I'm pretty far in. And I only started it yesterday. So I've got pretty far in. And I am liking it. But I will say that I was a bit worried about listening to it because I think I may have said before, I do find that I find it hard to rate audiobooks higher than just a 4-star. I did listen to The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston and I rated that a 5-star, but I did kind of read and listen to that one, although I do think the audiobook was pretty good for that one. In terms of Great Big Beautiful Lie, I could be wrong again because I'm listening to it, so I'm kind of getting a different experience, but it's not really feeling like an Emily Henry book to me. I'm liking it, but I'm not loving it, and that's kind of sad. I'm definitely liking the plot line. It's giving me Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo vibes. It's not the same, but it is giving me those vibes. And because I love Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, I'm not sure if this is really living up to that. And the romance I'm just not sure about at the moment. Like I don't know, I don't really feel like we've had enough to like it yet. So that's how I'm feeling. I'm not disappointed because I think I've seen a few reviews saying similar things, but I am a bit just in the middle with how I'm feeling. It just doesn't really feel like an Emily Henry book at the moment, which is just weird because I love Emily Henry. Those are all my thoughts at the moment. I've got to go to work, so hopefully I'll give you another update before I finish the book. Okay guys, I know I look crazy right now, so please ignore that as best as you can. I am on chapter 34 now. I wanted to give a few more thoughts because obviously this has been a bit more of a rushed segment of the video and I'm sorry about that. I wish I could have given more updates and filmed a bit more, but it's just not gone that way. The one thing that I'm definitely finding with this book is that whilst I think the relationship and the romance in this book is cute, it feels very like, honestly, it's probably the most physical relationship that Emily Henry has written, and I know I personally am not the biggest fan of that kind of relationship, and I think quite a lot of people on booktube, especially that I watch, feel that way as well. I was honestly a bit confused because all of a sudden the relationship had taken a turn. And that was about 40% in, I'm pretty sure. The other thing I wanted to say was I've seen a lot of people say that the Margaret story in this book they haven't particularly liked, which I disagree. I am liking it. As I said, it does kind of give Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo vibes, and it's not as good of a story. And I think it would have been a good story if this wasn't an Emily Henry book where there is like a separate romance going on. I think if it was just a book about Margaret's life and there was less of the romance, it would have been really good. Or if there was more of the romance and less of Margaret's story, if that makes sense. I feel like the balance is maybe a bit off because I would have liked to see more of Margaret's story. I still have 40 minutes left, so could get better from here, but I'm not sure what I'm gonna rate it. It doesn't feel like a 4-star to me. I just wish that it was just slightly more developed, like the romance. I feel like if it was a bit more prolonged and more like emotional, I think I would have loved it. But it just did feel quite physical and quite quick. Yeah, I feel like that's all I have to say. I'm gonna listen to the last 40 minutes and then I will do a little wrap up of the 2 books that I've read in this video. Okay, so I literally did just finish it and I'm about to go out. So I'm not going to be able to do my full wrap up now. I feel like I kind of jinxed my future in that last clip because the ending did definitely make up for some of the book for me. I feel like the ending was really well wrapped up and it was very like a full circle moment, I guess, for the characters, and it felt like the right ending. Like it honestly, it felt like the perfect ending, and it's a trope that can be a bit overdone. I'm pretty sure I did say in the Fearless part of this vlog, it's the same ending as the ending of Fearless, but for me, it didn't feel right for Fearless, but in this book, it did feel right. And yeah, it was just cute, and it honestly made up for a lot of the book for me. But that is probably the only thing I really liked about this story. And obviously I've said a lot already. I do just feel like I would have liked to see more of the romance or more of Margaret's story, and I feel like Margaret's relationship that you see kind of glimpses of had a lot of potential for like its own book, and you didn't get to see a lot of it. So from what I've been reading, particularly on Fable, I feel like a lot of people have similar opinions to me on that kind of thing. I feel like that's all I'm going to say now. It's obviously just a very quick update before I go out, but I will try and do a full wrap up of this video, and yeah, I did end up liking the ending, so that was good. Okay, so it is the end of this video. I thought I'd just do a little wrap up. I don't really have much else to add, I don't think. I think I've kind of said everything I wanted to say about my reading experiences with both of these books. I feel like I had kind of high expectations for Fearless, and maybe it didn't quite reach those expectations. And obviously, as I said, I did find quite a lot of it predictable, so it wasn't a letdown by any means, but I would say like it wasn't the most amazing experience reading it, and I would have loved for it to be even more amazing, but I still loved it. And as I said, I did rate Fearless 4.5 stars, so it's still high. I think I did prefer it to Reckless. So far, Powerless is like my favourite by far. I think it's the only 5-star as well, so that kind of says it all. But in my heart, this series is a 5-star series. Those are my thoughts on Fearless. And then Great Big Beautiful Life, on the other hand, I feel like I had lower expectations going into it. And I think, kind of as I've said, I know that that segment of this video was a bit shorter and a bit more brief. I feel like it did exceed my expectations, and now looking back, it did feel more like an Emily Henry book than maybe I felt when I was reading it. But overall, it wasn't the same vibe as the Emily Henry books that I have read already, which is like all of the main ones. So I think I have settled on a 3.75 stars. I think the ending really made up for a lot of the book for me. It was probably one of the most like full circle, well wrapped up endings that I've read in a while. And I really, really like that. And I feel like that's such a good like extra thing to a book, to have the ending be so full circle. Again, as I did say, I feel like it really matched the characters well, and in the trope that is the ending, it's quite an overdone like epilogue trope, and sometimes it does feel a bit like, I don't actually know if this is what the characters would have had happen to them in like the next year or the next 10 years, but in this book it did feel right, so I really like that. It still is not my favorite. I honestly might put it at the bottom of my Emily Henry reads so far, and I still enjoyed it. As I've already said, I feel like the elements of the story were really fun, and I really would have loved to see more in depth of both of the elements of the story, and that obviously can't happen in a 400-page or whatever it is romance book. So both of these books were pretty high rated, but not like my favorites by any mean. So that's this video. That's me reading the new releases that have come out in the last couple of weeks. I'll see you in the next video. We've got another reading vlog. So yeah.